Moving on, we have Ifeyinwa Omesiete. She's a certified nutritionist and she creates and introduces innovative recipes to improve a child's diet and also consults at various hospitals for children of all ages where she treats medical and dietary ailments. She will be talking about breastfeeding and transitioning to solids as she joins us via Skype. Good morning, Ifeyinwa.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Doing great.
Have you been holding up during the lockdown?
Pretty good. Just trying to keep busy, stay busy. Lots of moms and parents to help out with their kids.
Oh, great, great. So let's delve into our topic for today. I'm transitioning from breastfeeding to solids. What do you have for us on that?
Right. Okay, so I think one of the biggest concerns a lot of parents have, or where they develop the term picky eating, is when you start off coming off breast milk to moving on to solids. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is that they think it's going to be an easy transition or that it's supposed to just happen. Feeding is a learned skill. Yes, it's supposed to be innate, but you actually have to encourage and teach a child how to eat, especially if they've been on an all liquid diet and then you're trying to get them to eat like semi solids or
Yes.
solids moving forward. So one of the things I always suggest to parents is that they need to relax and sort of put themselves in the shoes of the child they're trying to feed.
Yes.
What were the circumstances surrounding breastfeeding? Were you only doing breastfeeding from the breast? Were you offering the bottle? Because sometimes when you offer the bottle, you sort of encourage a sense of independence to the child.
Yes.
Secondly, was it only the mom always with the child? Was there help surrounding her? Did she get an opportunity to go out and do other things and let someone else take care of the child? This is also important in the transition process because a lot of children get very clingy. And so
Yeah.
when you want to move to solids, they are not interested whatsoever because all they've known is either their mother's comfort or their mother's breast milk. So I think
Yeah.
it's really important that the circumstances surrounding breastfeeding are understood before you even begin thinking about introducing solids.
Okay, so talking about the circumstances surrounding breast transitioning, what are the circumstances that parents should focus on in the process of transitioning to solids?
So one of the things you want to do is you want to start early. It's always recommended to start transitioning to solids from about 6 months. So that's important. You want to start from about 6 months.
Okay.
And then when you want to transition, make sure the food that you're transitioning with is easy to absorb and digest. So
Okay.
things like carb are really, really good because they're made out of fermented grains, which are excellent for the gut, excellent for easy absorption.
Yeah.
You want to do simple things, kind of like apple purees, where you peel off the back, steam the apples a little bit and blend. Carrots are also fantastic, sweet potatoes. Our local soups, so things like okra,
Yeah.
ewedu, or
Oh, okay.
those are fantastic for moving on from breast milk to solid.
Yeah.
Now, salt is something you want to be extremely careful about. You don't want to go adding salt to food that you're giving a 6-month-old or a 7-month-old or an 8-month-old.
Of course.
We usually recommend you start from about 1 year. And then, like
Okay.
I said, take it easy with the child. They're moving from, a completely liquid diet to all solids. So you kind of want to make sure that if they only agree to take a few spoons, that's okay. Recommended between 4 to 8 tablespoons is what is ideal per meal. So
Yeah.
if you go above that, great. If you don't get up to 8, if you do only 4 or 3, that's also fine. It's a win situation for you, especially if the child is just starting.
Okay. Now, for mothers who like to do exclusive breastfeeding for a period of time, are you saying that 6 months is the best time to start to transition from breast milk to solid, or it just depends on you as the mom?
So best time is 6 months, but if you
Okay.
want to go ahead and start later, that's completely fine, especially if you've exclusively breastfed. I've noticed over time and with experience that moms who exclusively breastfeed tend to have a better chance at moving on to solids, mainly because in your breast milk, if you're eating a very balanced diet, a lot of the foods that you eat, you
Yeah.
get somewhere between about zero to about 1% of that food in the breast milk, so the child actually gets to taste it. So the more vegetables you eat, the more inclined the child is to accept vegetables when you start introducing them. the
Oh,
more
wow.
fibers and healthy carbs and healthy fats you incorporate into your diet while you're breastfeeding also encourages that child to move onto solids when you eventually start. But I always recommend that you start just at about 6 months, because the sooner you start, the earlier it is with all the struggles, the trials, the errors, because you're going to have a lot of that, a lot of trials, a
Yeah.
lot of errors, a lot of frustration, which I think a lot of parents need to prepare themselves for. It's not a walk in the park; it's
Yeah.
work. Feeding a child who's just starting solids is work. So when you mentally prepare for the journey, it makes it easier to cope with. But I always recommend starting at 6 months.
Okay. So what is the downside or are there any downsides to delays in transitioning to solids, or does it just have good sides? So for example, a mom decides not to
Yes.
breastfeed, not to transition till her child is like a year plus. Is there any downsides to that?
Yes, there's a lot of downsides to that.
Okay.
One, the child is going to be nutritionally deficient. After about 6 months to about a year, breast milk is not sufficient enough as a nutrient source. So, for
Okay.
example, you will not have enough calcium, you will not have enough iron in the diet. So, things like iron deficiency, anemia will begin to set in. Also, when you only breastfeed, you don't develop something we call the thrust reflux, which essentially is how you encourage swallowing. So all that you experience when you breastfeed doesn't encourage proper swallowing and causing the esophagus to begin the process of trying to digest foods that are a little bulkier. So you put the child at risk of that. And then also you just have a delay in terms of development, because they're not going to get all the vital nutrients that they would get from certain kinds of solid foods. So I really do encourage people to start, from 6 months, 7 months, at the latest even 8 months. But once you start getting to 9 months, you're getting to a more independent child who's now wanting to, try crawling, try to hold on to stuff. So, really starting early really does make it easier on the journey and also provide better nutrients for the child.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Ifeyinwa. I am sure mothers out there and mothers who are trying to transition their babies have learned a thing or two from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, then. Have a great day. All right, then. I'm sure for our mothers and parents viewing have learned a thing or two on how best it is to transition your child from breast milk to solid.